Today we will be recapping Season 16, Episode 2 of The Real Housewives of Orange County. The episode starts off with Nicole and Noella entering the party. The ladies chat with each other. Shannon and Nicole talk as well, with Shannon saying that she and Nicole met 16 years ago and how different Nicole is to now. In the confessional, Shannon says she doesn't understand how Heather and Nicole are friends when Heather told her 16 years ago that she sued Dr. Terry for a botched boob job. Emily and Gina talk about boobgate. Gina says she doesn't believe what Shannon says because Nicole's boobs look really good. Gina thinks Nicole is nice, and if what Shannon says is true, she doesn't understand how Nicole and Heather are friends. Nicole joins the duo. Emily comments on her breasts and how good they look. Nicole tells them that it took 4.5 years for them to look that good. Gina and Heather bond about being from New York, and Gina feels bad, so she tells Heather about boobgate. Meanwhile, Emily tells Shannon that Gina is speaking to Heather and asks her if she told Heather. Heather gets upset and reminds Emily of their promise. She leaves to talk to Heather. Emily proceeds to tell Nicole and Dr. Jen about boobgate. Shannon joins the conversation with Heather and Gina and Shannon gets into an argument, after which Heather leaves. They continue to argue, and Shannon gets up to go and talk to Heather. Shannon tries to speak to Heather, who is vividly upset and doesn't want to be filmed. She says she's done with the conversation. While this is taking place, Nicole admits that she sued Dr. Terry, and she and Emily get into an argument on their own. Noella likes Shannon and tries to support her during this time. Suddenly, Noella spots Max, Heather's daughter, and begins to talk about their sexuality. Earlier on in the episode, Dr. Terry had arrived but had left to go upstairs to get some rest. But now Heather and Terry go to confront Nicole about the entire boobgate. Nicole tells Terry that she has known Heather for more than 6 years and says that Dr. Terry did nothing wrong and she was pushed by her attorneys to sue him. Terry tells her that she dropped the matter and it is fine. Heather comforts her. Heather says that doctors get sued all the time and that Nicole is her friend. Heather pulls aside Gina and Shannon. She confronts Gina about shit-talking her husband, to which Gina denies doing such. She then tells Gina, "People say don't shoot the messenger. I say shoot the messenger." Heather is upset with Shannon for telling Gina about Nicole. Heather accuses Shannon of being untrustworthy and said she should have spoken to her first. Shannon then accuses Heather of pointing, and their conversation ends on a bad note. The next day, Heather and Dr. Terry discuss the entire ordeal and Shannon's role. Heather tells Dr. Terry that she spent $36 for the party. Emily calls Heather and invites her to lunch with her and Gina, to which Heather accepts. Noella checks up on Shannon to find out how she feels after the entire incident that happened at the party. Dr. Jen and her husband go out on a date. In the confessional, she admits that her husband doesn't like to speak about stressful situations. They talk about their children. Emily and Shane are also on their date. They are celebrating 13 years of marriage. Emily tells her husband that she isn't spiritual because she did not grow up in a religious household. But she said after Shane went through his situation, she understood why people talk about faith. They discuss their children. Emily wants them to be religious, but she feels as if she can't offer them that due to her lack of knowledge on religion. Emily, Gina, and Heather meet up for lunch. Gina says that Heather is very intimidating. Gina tells Heather that she feels terrible about what happened, and Heather tells her that there's a time and a place to discuss certain matters. Gina explains to her that she went to a barbecue with her husband, and unbeknownst to her, his mistress was there. She said that everyone knew about the situation and told her nothing. So at the party, when she realized that Heather did not know about boobgate, she felt the need to tell her. Heather understands why Gina felt triggered and she felt bad about her reaction. They make up and move on. Heather thinks Shannon is jealous of her. She tells the girls that Shannon felt betrayed that they spoke about the boobgate and she trusted them. Heather says that this is confusing to her, saying that Shannon is the same one who told her that Emily and Gina were not to be trusted and are manipulative. She goes on to say that a leopard doesn't change its spots.